UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has sacked Home Secretary Suella Braverman. Braverman was fired after she took a dig at the London police force and accused it of ignoring pro-Palestinian mobs. Braverman defied the Sunak government, in fact, by publishing an article in the Times that called the demonstration hate marches. The UK Prime Minister has replaced Suella Braverman with James Cleverly. Former Prime Minister David Cameron has now been called forward to take up Cleverly's post as Foreign Secretary.
It is a genuine privilege to be appointed as the Home Secretary. It is my priority, and indeed the priority of the whole government, to make sure that everybody is able to go about their lives in peace and security, driving down crime, particularly illegal migration, and tackling those evil people traffickers. We will stop the boats.
Right, I'm joined by Sanjay Suri on the broadcast to get the latest when it comes to the tussle that's taking place in Rishi Sunak's government. Sanjay, I want to just read a couple of statements that Suella Braverman has made in the past. She said, "Look at migration in this country. The largest group of people who overstay are Indian migrants. British Pakistani men are part of grooming gangs that pursue, drug, rape and harm vulnerable English girls. I would love to have a front page of the Telegraph with a plane taking off to Rwanda. That's my dream. It's my obsession. It's the coalition of chaos. It's the Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokerati, and homelessness is a lifestyle choice." So is it good riddance for Suella Braverman, who's made headlines with all these statements?
Well, as you've reminded us, no one could ever accuse Suella Braverman of political correctness. She has made one provocative remark after another. The latest was the one that set off a confrontation around her description of the marches in support of Palestinian rights and in opposition to Israeli bombing of Gaza as Palestinian mobs that are being supported by the police. Now, that statement was one aspect of it, but she submitted that article to 10 Downing Street for vetting as required. 10 Downing Street, which is the Prime Minister's office, said no to some of the content. She chose to ignore what the Prime Minister said and went ahead and published as is. That is a very clear violation of the ministerial code, and therefore the sacking was in order. But more than that, even after she did that, we had a statement from 10 Downing Street that she has the confidence of the Prime Minister. What really turned it against her in the last day or two was a near revolt from the cabinet of the Conservative Party. They distanced themselves from her publicly and in private expressed very strong opposition. In the face of that, Rishi Sunak had no option but to sack her.
Right, and Sanjay, I'll leave you with this final question. David Cameron's back. He's now going to be Foreign Secretary. He was, I remember, Prime Minister when I was in college in Britain, and now he's back to take up the post of Foreign Secretary. Is he ruffling feathers inside the Conservative camp? Has this caught all the political pundits off guard?
Well, it certainly has caught the political pundits off guard. No one was expecting this, not by miles. There seem to be, very briefly, two factors at work here. David Cameron was the one who campaigned for Remain. He was the one who opposed Brexit. And Brexit is not quite working for Britain. So this really is a move to try and get people within the party together. There's a lot of division over Brexit, not just within the party, but within the country. There's a move to build bridges now and to come to some sort of understanding. And of course, given his positions, he would be a very good person as Foreign Secretary to deal with the EU and with the governments there, given the difficulties in trade and other political difficulties that have arisen as a consequence of Brexit. Secondly, he has been quite welcomed in the Arab world through his initiatives earlier, particularly around Gaza. That makes him a softer person to push Britain's policy in the Middle East.
Right. Thank you, Sanjay Suri, for decoding the tussle inside Rishi Sunak's government. Braverman out, David Cameron in, and James Cleverly is the new Home Secretary. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out and how does this bolster Rishi Sunak's push to become the prime face of the Conservative Party ahead of the elections next year.